All right, welcome back to another Nordic Takedown podcast YouTube video. I'm so humble, back from Lille, France, um, the first regional qualifier. I would like to say European Championship. It feels like the same thing. Maybe we'll have more RQs in a year, so uh, that's why it's called the regional qualifiers and stuff. But I just arrived home. It's Tuesday. I took train, so I'm quite exhausted. So if you find that this presentation in some lack of energy or that I haven't done enough work with the background pictures and stuff, yes, then I have been lazy. I just wanted to get this out as soon as possible because it's as its most relevant state. So. It was 860 players enrolled. Of course, the max cap was 2,000, but so far this is the biggest tournament up to date in Star Wars Unlimited. There is a RQ, of course, coming up in the States, and then it's of course gonna be a galactic qualifier that is open for anyone to sign in. So obviously we all think that is going to be the biggest tournament. So, but we will see if Europe will keep the biggest RQ or if the States will steal that from us. I will also go through: am I the best Quinlan in Europe during this video? So stay tuned for more comments around that. So let's start here. Let's start a little bit with the meta. This is not a full meta breakdown, but this was a picture that was floating around basically a few rounds in. And you could see that in this tournament, 15% of the players actually chose to play Sabine ECL. Then there is also some Sabine Yellows and, of course, some crazy Data Vault Sabines as well that we are going to get into as well. 10% Quinlan Target Town, which was quite expected, around the same as in Richmond. 7% of Kira Data Vault that has increased. We have the Cad Bane Target Town laying around 5%, so decent amount. Anakin around 3%, which is not strange since it didn't super perform in Richmond. And then that is probably supposed to be the new Boba with a yellow aspect, I assume. And then it's Han green, probably just with Echo base, so it's going to be a little bit more if you go percentage for all the green bases. And then the guys trying to get that Vader showcase. So this was basically the meta. I had expected it to be quite a lot less Sabine, even though it won Richmond. I had expected that the Kira Data Vault would convince all these European control players to turn to her because it was my thought that she was pretty good into Sabine Isiel, and that she would have quite good matchups overall. So I thought she would be very popular, and I think even Han Green. I think Han Green was going to be the most popular deck. That was obviously very, very wrong. So you can see that I will talk a little bit about my deck, that there is some decisions made around me thinking I was going to face these two decks a little bit more than I got. Otherwise, it's not that weird. There was a lot of players playing very different decks. There was some Idens, like in the top 64 we had Iden, Kazuda, we had Thrawn 1 by the way, and Thrawn 2 actually, making it there. Rex was there, so it was a very, very open top 64, even though it was flooding with Sabines for the most part. And some Anakins actually. Anakin performed very well this tournament. So basically, I picked Quinlan Voss, the Tarkin Town version, of course. It's the only one played at the moment, really. So why did I pick this deck? I had played it a lot, and the Han 1 blue deck that I was working on wasn't really performing. It did not beat Sabine ECL. which was my goal with the deck. I wanted a deck that can beat Sabine, but also can fight well into Han Green, because Han Green was what I was suspecting to be the big thing here in Europe, actually. So I wanted to. So I was mostly focusing on the Han Green, not the Sabine. And I thought that the Han 1 blue could take both, basically. It turned out it couldn't, so I turned back to Quinlan, made some changes, and wanted to make a Quinlan that was really good in main deck against Han Green, and in sideboard really good against the Kira Data Vault. Obviously, I also know the Sabine matchup. It is Sabine favored, but since I have a very extended knowledge in how to maneuver versus Sabine, I knew I could take a few games and series, especially against worse Sabine players. So I had hoped to dodge some Sabines. And I thought it would be like 8% maybe, something like that, not 15. So in that sense, a kind of bad meta call by me. I thought it was going to be something completely different. Of course, I prepared for Sabine, but I didn't think there was going to be her. That was so. It was going to be all about her, basically. This is the deck, so you can see here that I run 2 Fang Fighters main and 3 Bamboozle, and this is for Han Green. This is the courtesy of Han Green. Just get rid of Shui, get rid of the upgraded nasty pilots. It so happened it actually works against Darksabers as well, or General's Blade on Sabine. So it has multiple uses. It's also very good against Vader Swarm decks, which I actually thought was going to be a lot more of. I at least got to phase 1, and then the Boba 4 is also a play deck, even though I think this deck wins probably without this against it. But I thought the upgrade hate was gonna fit in very well, and even like against Anakin's that has lightsabers and stuff. So that was my idea. But that made me weaker in both Mirror and against Sabine, because I do not play the land speeder in the main deck. I don't even have it in the sideboard. I do not run Gorilla in soldiers in main deck. I have 2 in the sideboard, and those are 2 of the most important cards, I would say, for Mirror, and especially the Gorilla Soldier is amazing into Sabine and into Quinlan, because you want to pass early and then just slam like Sabine wants to pass, so you can do the passing and then slam a Gorilla, get 5 damage and get ahead, and force her to be the proactive player. Because if you didn't know it already, like Quinlan is supposed to be the proactive one against Sabine, because she flips earlier. She can put some immense pressure on you if you haven't tried fighting with her. Another thing that not everyone runs is 3 Grogu, and I'm gonna say that Grogu was probably the best card in the deck, best performing card in the deck, and that probably turned out to be that way because I played so many Sabines and Quinlans, because he's amazing in that those matchups. You can easily go first against Sabine, just slam a Grogu, which means that her next turn play will be tapped. It can be wing leader, but you won't be able to attack. You will go first because they will start with ping. Because if they put it first, you then play Grogu and just basically what would you say? Take it out with Tarkin Town. So you will always go first with Grogu if there is a unit on board. He also unlocks early force throws. In my game 13, it sounds insane to say that. There's so many games. You can see me getting the lucky hand on stream, actually, where I, on turn 2, I top deck the last force throw and can play 3 force throw on my Sabine opponent, which is, of course, very, very lucky. It's not something that happens, but just 1 force throw and a 2-drop, for example, in the following play with Grogu is still disgusting. So yeah, Grogu is the star. I think he is the 3 of. I played the Crafty Smuggler and L3 of them. They are pretty good in the mirror as well because they have the shields. If someone goes first on you, you're not playing a card first unless it's Grogu in the mirror. So, but they are solid cards. I think, in my opinion, you can go land speeder. Maybe that's something I should have done, but I had not tested it enough. Shame on me. But I really, really like the two twos with shields. That makes it easier to put a hot shot on them on the round 2 and stuff like that. Otherwise, not much to say about the list. Of course, the sideboard there, you see Pillage, Enchant, Sundula, and Tech. That is basically all for for Kira. I didn't side in Sham all tournament. I still think it's the right choice to have him in. I think that was just the luck of the draw, bad unluck of the draw, because I think I would beat every Kira I face at least 2-1. The game 1 would be really hard, but game 2 should be pretty free unless you draw like absolute crap. So moving on, this is my run basically. I'm not going to go into every matchup because that would take all night long, and we want this to be still like a shorter video, maximum 20 minutes. But basically day 1 I started with a Boba Tarkin Town. Boba, this is Boba Pilot of course because the other Boba is banned. There is actually the hero Boba as well, so just saying this is Boba Tarkin Town villain. 2-0. Boba 4 is not that good of a leader in my opinion. It flips too late. I think the indirect is very easily played around if you are good. I think it can punish some control decks that lacks units early and they can't recover, but Sabine, Quinlan, Anakin, they should never lose to that deck. If you do, you're either very unlucky or play wrong or have a bad build. Usually, like anything can happen, but that it, and even against Cad Bane, it's also the same. Like all these stronger like mid-range aggro decks, they should not lose to Boba. Then I went into Anakin Colossus 2-0. Colossus is quite easy for the deck because you can really attack their hand. Then I got my first Sabine, ECL. That was my first 2-1. It was really tight. We actually went to time. We got first deck checked, and then it took a little bit of time. I'm not sure how we ended up. Maybe we ended up with 2 minutes left or something, but it was a really, really tight. Then my first stream game versus Quinlan was a mirror, of course. Won that 2-0. Went up into against another Quinlan, 2-0. Then actually, surprisingly, in round 6, I got to play Vader 4, which was very interesting. So I actually got one of these swarm decks. I did not expect it to be a Tarkin Town deck, though, to be honest. So it was a little bit... I would say I didn't really exactly know how it ran, but let's just say that when the opponent plays Vader legendary unit as a pilot and Boba as a pilot on the same turn, and I have Fang Fighter or Bamboozle that hand, you win games. So that was 2-0 into a new Anakin Colossus 2-0. Then I actually got to face Han Yellow. I was actually, when I saw the Han, I was like, oh, finally the Han Green that I've been teched about. And it's like, oh, it's yellow, a lot harder. But still 2-0. Then in game 9, undefeated. We were 3 people undefeated. It was me, Sip, and I can't remember the third guy. The third guy, though, got down paired. So and lost against the eventual winner of the tournament, so no shame there. And I lost to Sips Han 2 ECL 2-0. It was not very close. Game 1 was actually fairly close, but game 2 was a stop. Going into day 2, I was actually hoping, I knew there was some control decks around and Anakins, so I had hoped that I was going to match up against those, but I started the day with Sabine ECL, went 0-2. I got into my head a little bit. I thought he was going to do things he didn't do, and I ended up making some bad plays. Lost one of the games with one HP because of a decision I made. Like I gambled basically. I thought he was gonna slam my General's Blade, so I waited with a Bamboozle, and then he just attacked face for 3 and played a new unit, and I did nothing. So that was bad. Should just so he won that very rightfully. I played a lot better. Then I got into two new Quinlan mirrors, so it was a 2-0 again, and then a 2-1. The 2-1 was really tough, really hard. He played very well. He apparently had been second best Quinlan in Liverpool as well, I think it was, or if it was Milan, but I think it was Liverpool. That was really tight, and basically here from game 11, 12, and 13, I am on my last HP to get to the top 8. You could only afford to lose 2 games and maybe draw 1. There was 1 that I drawn that got in, but when you're facing Quinlan mirrors and Sabine ECL, you are not going to draw, so I needed to win everyone. And then ended up winning the game 13 against Sabine ECL with some... that one is on stream. There is some really lucky things there with Grogu triple force throw, for example. Then top 8, another Sabine ECL, like my 5th one. So I'm really happy I played. I think I haven't checked all the deck lists, of course, but in the mirrors, but I was not teched for mirror or for Sabine really main deck, and still ended up to go so well when 9 of my matchups were those. That was really impressive for myself. And then in top 4, I got to face Sabine Data Vault instead. The Danish guys, was 2 Danish guys. You know Steve-O and Jonas from the channel. They were the creators of Cat Blue. Now they created this Sabine Data Vault deck, which was very exciting. I'm not going to go deep diving into it because I am quite sure we're going to have a video with them explaining it themselves. But I knew this was a bad matchup. I think it was a little bit better for me than the ECL because you can't hostage take my Quinlan. But since I'm not made boarded for Sabine from the start, I'm very impressed that I got that game 1. It's all on stream, but lost the games 2 and 3. 2 was very close. If I had a better turn 3 play, that could really have worked because he did a mistake, missed a May effect. That could have changed the game if I had like the best follow up, but I didn't. And then Sabine Data Vault ended up winning it all. This white thing, I was tired. Apparently I did a mistake here. As I said, more incoming on the Sabine's winner Data Vault. But really congratulations to Jonas who won. This is why. 2 of them. All right. Moving on to some takeaways from this tournament. I did win 4 Quinlan mirrors, so maybe I am the best Quinlan in Europe. Of course, we don't know. Everyone doesn't show up on these things, but I was the best one at least in the biggest tournament in Europe so far, or in the world so far, and won actually 4 mirrors, which says something at least. Other than that, Scandinavia came with like insane force. We were maybe 20 players from Scandinavia. There was a Finnish guy that I faced in top 13. There was a few Danes and a lot of Swedes. Around 20 players, and we had 7 of us converting into day 2, which is insane. And we had some 6-3s as well, and 6-1s. Very strong performance, which means that it says a little bit about the Scandinavian meta, because a lot of these players that went here, we are going to the same PQs. So even if we have lower numbers on the PQs because of our geographic location and player base, we can see that there are a lot of strong players here in Scandinavia, and should be respected when the Scandinavians come into future major events. We had 7 players in day 2, 2 players in semis. We knocked each other out. I think for me, the dream would have been to meet Jonas maybe in the final instead, and having Anakin in the semis. But you can't choose your road, basically. That's just how it is. Another take is also that the Team Enigma showed up. Thork made a great video about this. I'm not going to talk too much about it, of everyone's performance, but 3 out of 4 made day 2, and I reached top 4. Sip was 1 game from. He went 9-0. He was actually 10-0 at the time before he took 3 losses, so very unfortunate there for him. So this basically means that they said it was hotel and flight to Vegas. I'm still waiting for that information to be completely correct. So now I am going to try to work it out to go to Vegas and try to instead win the Galactic Championship here there in the new set that's going to be completely insane. But the other takeaways, it was an amazing organized event. I think the judges was really, really good for the most part. Sometimes they intervened with the wrong information and thing, but for the most part it was really good. And the event ran very smoothly. I would say that even though you have 9 rounds on day 1, I think you should plan for a small lunch break or something. Not everyone gets the time to eat a lunch. Otherwise, the lunch on one of the food courts ran out both days of their food, so I couldn't test that. But otherwise, it was good. I think the price wall was a lot better, it seems like, than compared to previous events. I still think they could have more things there. I didn't find most of the things that interesting for myself, because I think the carbonite boosters were really overpriced. But the rest was fairly good, and I didn't play any side events because when I went out it was too late for that. But yeah, that is basically the rundown from me here. I'm just gonna shout out some Moose Pack players as well. Jonah from the podcast went 6-3, missed out just about of the 7-2 cut. Matthias also went 6-3, and then Gustav, I think, also went 6-3. He was 5-0 a while, which was before he dropped, and he had some really sad things happening. But in general, this was a very, very good event. It was really nice hosted, and I wouldn't mind going back. So thank you everyone for watching this video, and if you want to chat with me or anyone from the Nordic Takedown, just join the Nordic Takedown Discord, which will be linked here, I hope. And you can also find me on the Team Enigma server. That one is not close behind any paywall. It's up, so I will be on both. If you're looking for coaching and stuff, that is also something that is offered. I will do a video more about that later on this week. But if you are looking forward, want to get coached right away, just DM me and I will do the details there. That's not what this video is about. But thank you for watching, and may the force be with you.